Polybius, aka the most totally real, I swear guys, video game, urban legend. So on the 31st of October in any year, a little thing I like to call Halloween commences. The only holiday where you can dress up in a Sonic costume and tell scary stories about dark arcade cabinets without being judged. Which is what I'll be doing, minus the costume. I couldn't find any at Tesco's. And also with no one around. I'm not sure why, it's public area posts on everything. Actually, maybe it's a sign. Yeah, that was the only sign I had. I was hoping people would misread that as I'm telling stories about demonic arcade cabinets. Anyway, on with the legend. Polybius was supposedly an arcade cabinet that released in 1981 and disappeared around a month later. It was exclusively released in Portland, Oregon and was commissioned by the US government as an experiment. It would cause seizures, hallucinations, night terrors, illness, suicidal thoughts, and even sudden death, really the whole 9 yards. The name Polybius, well, we'll never know the true origin of, there's still rumors. The two main places it could have came from was a Greek historian named Polybius or a cipher called the Polybius Square. But hey, I've already talked enough about ciphers in the last video, I'm not going to explain the code. It was developed by a German company named Sinuslosion, which is just a mishmash of a bunch of German words very roughly translating to sensory deprivation. The gameplay of Polybius is debated to death. Seriously, I've seen people pull out knives over this. It's generally agreed upon that the gameplay was similar to Atari's Tempest, though you can find numerous gameplay videos online claiming to be the real deal. Men in Black would also visit the cabinet every once in a while to collect data about something. You might ask why the US government will waste their time and money on a black box designed to be a health code violation. Well, some say the government is trying to find people tough enough not to be affected by the game so they can find people who are qualified enough to be soldiers. Others just say it was flat out used for mind control. The first known mention of Polybius was in 1998 on a website called coinup.org. A user on the site wrote about Polybius and a lot of details of the legend first appeared there, like where it was, when it released, and a bunch of other things. Anyway, after all that, in 2006, someone named Stephen Roach posted on the forum that he was the man himself who set up Sinuslosion, the company that made Polybius. He claimed that him and the development team knew they would make an addictive game and they were, well, making it. There's also were the two rumors of the game being similar to Tempest and it being named after a Greek historian called Polybius originated, since those are also things he said. He then claimed to have disbanded the company after the release of Polybius for obvious reasons. Then the person who wrote the entry back in 2000 on coinup.org went, you don't know that. He said Stephen's claims were false, but we're talking Polybius here, we have no clue who's lying and who's not. Okay, gotcha. Say hi to him for me. Well, I just got off the phone with the government and they told me I'm legally obligated to talk about how unlikely the story is and all the evidence against it. Also, if I comply, I get the bonus reward of them adding me on Discord. So welcome to a little segment I like to call I talk about how unlikely Polybius is because I legally have to. We'll work on that title. Anyway, how come the first documentation of Polybius was 19 years later? Did someone just randomly think that I was like, oh, I can put that on coinup.org? Also, it was 1981, this was the time people were the most concerned about video games affecting people's health. How come the media didn't cover this? This is something the news would have killed to cover back then. Why would the government want to do this kind of thing in an arcade? Like I said, the media would have a story that's good for breakfast. Everyone would know. And also, arcades were targeted at children and teens. Why recruit them or mind control them? Why not adults? Could games back then really do what Polybius did? Now, sure, why not? Video games go on killing spree. But back then, the best game that released that year was Donkey Kong. Does this technology really look like it can murder you? Should just wait 14 years for the Virtual Boy to come out. If Men in Black went to download data from the machine, what will they download? The effects on play? Machines can't even track that now. What makes you think they could back then? If you're trying to hide the fact that the game you made is going to give people a cold or worse death, why do you name your company something that one translator tells you that you're about to have an epileptic seizure? The story in Polybius, the person who Polybius may have been named after, once famously quoted, historians should not report on something they cannot verify, which is everything Polybius is. This whole thing might just be a troll. No matter if you believe in Polybius or not, you have to agree, it's never gonna die down. That mysterious black arcade cabinet is etched into the media and internet culture, and I really don't see it going away. There was even a PS4 game made with the same name inspired by the legend. It was on an episode of The Simpsons. It was in a Batman comic. My personal favorite reference was in an episode of Marvel's Loki where it was in the background of scene. I remember watching the episode and I immediately noticed. This is a topic widely covered all over the internet, mainly YouTube. And I just want to make a video acknowledging many details brushed over or just not talked about enough without going too deep. As interesting as the idea of Polybius existing is, I doubt it. This was a rumor mainly started on a website just made by a couple of people, with more details appearing on public sites where anyone could post anything. I doubt that Stephen Roach who made a post about Polybius in 2006 was even using his real name. The possibility of Polybius existing is extremely low, but that's what makes it mysterious. The fact that we'll never know the truth. And that's just Polybius. Oh hey, I just got a notification. The government added me on Discord for disproving Polybius.